Hi guys, welcome back to my channel, or welcome if you are new. Today I'm doing a much overdue video about my second term at WGU.
And yes guys, I'm sorry, it's another video of my cat licking itself in the background.
This is also my third video that I have made about WGU, so if you haven't seen my other videos, I will put them in the description box below. I did one for an admissions, like everything you need for admissions to get in and attend WGU. And then I did one on my first term, so this is going to be my second term video, so if you haven't seen those, in the description box below. And I just want to put this out there before I get any comments that this is just my experience at WGU. Whether if I talk about a class is hard or easy, this is my experience. If I pass a class super easily, other people might not, or if a class takes me really long or I fail it, that doesn't mean other people are going to too. This is just my experience, and I wanted to show you guys just some tips and stuff about how I get through my classes, and hopefully they will help you at WGU as well. One of the things that I wanted to talk about too is kind of what I do when I get into each of my classes. I don't do this with every single class, just depending on the structure. But for most of the classes, what I do when I figure out what class I'm going to be in, I look it up on Reddit, just because there is a lot of people talking about like the harder things that were more difficult for them to learn, or things that were easy, or just in general how hard the class was in general. So I kind of just like to look up that to kind of get like an overview of how the class is going to go. And then I actually go into the class and activate it, and then I look at, and then I watch, if they have like an overview video, I watch that too first after I activate it. And then after that, I go into the course chat and kind of just look, and people will talk about things that they had trouble with, or if the PA is similar to the OA, or if they passed the PA their first time or the OA, all of that. I kind of just like to get an overview that way too of other people's experiences. And then once I do that, I kind of just look over like the course tips and the announcements, and I kind of just go through everything just to kind of get more comfortable with the class and the layout and all of that. And then once I've done that, then I actually get into the chapters themselves. So instead of just jumping right into the chapters, there's actually like a few things that I do before to get myself more comfortable in that course. Then as I'm going through the chapters, I do all of like the checkpoints and all those little things. I just do those right in order, and then at the end of every chapter, or like every few chapters, I always see if there's like a cohort or a webinar or video to watch on those, to kind of give different like practice examples, or some further in-depth description if I am still kind of weary on the topics. So that's kind of just what I do, getting into each class to kind of feel more comfortable with it, and how I really like jump in without, you know, any knowledge or anything. I actually try to get as much information from other people in the classes before I just jump in right into the material. Now getting into my second term, the first class that I took was Integrated Natural Science Applications, which was C452. So this one was a pretty good one to start with. I got through it, I believe, in about 2 to 3 weeks. I could have accelerated even more. I was just kind of, it was starting to be summer, and I slacked off this term a lot more than I should have. So you actually don't have an OA on this course. There is just a project that you have to do, so it's something easy that you can just keep track of. So I did different substances that melted ice, and I did a timer and kept track of all of that stuff that happened. Had a controlled one, of course, and then you have to like make this project PowerPoint thing and then put pictures as well. So I did that. It was pretty easy. It literally took me one night to do. You want to do something that's quick and easy that you can actually measure instead of something that's going to take a long period of time, just so you can get through the classes like soon as possible, and you're really just trying to pass the class. You're not trying to, you know, really go above and beyond what they're asking. So a lot of the times if they have examples or different projects that you can do, I recommend that you stick with those, because those are definitely going to be easier ones and really just help you pass and move on to your next classes. But you also have to do a PowerPoint as well. I don't remember what the guidelines for that is, but you will have that, really, that breaks it down. And I just did a PowerPoint. I think it was on a natural resource, I'm not sure. But it was really easy. I actually had a lot of fun with the project. It was just a PowerPoint. It only had to be like 15 slides, I think. And then you got to put in different pictures from the internet and different things that you learned and all that. So it was actually really fun. It was an easy class. Once I got the project done and the PowerPoint done, that was all. There was no OA, so it was really nice and simple. And then after that, I moved on to college algebra. So that was C278. So that one, I did my other, in term 1, I took my other math class that I had to do, and that one was pretty easy. I didn't struggle with it too much. It did take me a little bit longer than I wanted it to, and that's kind of how this one was too. So college algebra for me, it wasn't too difficult, but it did take me some time to learn the information, and I went through all of the videos that they offered multiple times to really, for one, there was a lot of like practice questions that I liked, and then for two, it really just helped me learn the information better when I saw somebody else doing it and I could follow them. So I believe this class took me about 5 or 6 weeks, which isn't too far off of what they recommend or whatever they say. It's supposed to take you like 5 to 7 weeks. But for accelerating to a next class, I really wanted to speed it up and do it in like 3 to 4 weeks, but that just didn't happen. In between this time too, it was summer, so we went on a lot of like family vacations, and I slacked off more than I should have. But anyways, and then my next class after that was Introduction to IT, which is C182, and honestly, this was my hardest class this term, and I struggled with this class so much, you guys. This class was only supposed to take me, I think it was probably the same, like 5 to 7 weeks or whatever. This class took me literally the rest of the time. The first 2 classes took me like, what, maybe 2 months total. This class took me like 3-4 months. It was horrible. I struggled so much. For one, it took me a long time to actually get into the information and start studying it, just because I was slacking on all the stuff that was going on this summer. But then the information was, I don't know, it was just really hard for me to stick in my brain or what, but I felt like I would do okay. And then when it got to the OA, I was like, I don't know what these questions are. Like, I don't even know what they're asking. It was more, I think, how the questions were worded. But yeah, I struggled with this. I passed the PA right when I took it. I got a little bit over like the line of what, like, to pass. And I got like right over that. Like the line was like right here and I was like right here. So I was pretty close. So I knew that I needed to study a little bit more before I took the OA. So I think I studied for an additional like week before I took the OA. The first attempt at the OA, I did terrible. I was in the like approaching competency range, but I was pretty far away from the competency line needing to pass. So, which was okay. I was like, you know what, it's my first attempt, it's fine, I'll keep studying. Your teacher will give you like kind of like guidelines of what you need to do to really go through each of the, like, they had me go through back the chapters and each of the quizzes and get 100% on each quiz before I move on to the next one, and they gave me an additional practice test as well. So I went through and did all of those, went through every single quiz, make sure I got 100% before I moved on to the other ones. And then I took my second attempt, I think 2 weeks after, which kind of sucked because I think I had a vacation in between. So I feel like I kind of felt okay about it, but at the same time, I knew in the back of my mind, like, I had stepped away from it for a little bit and I wasn't putting my whole heart into it. Because I'm not going at 19 and I just feel like it wasn't something I was interested in, and it was just hard for me to try to keep it in my brain. I took the second attempt and I literally, guys, I literally failed it by one question. One question, my second attempt. So I was so upset. I emailed my teacher literally bawling my eyes out and was like, I literally failed by like one question. I don't know what I need to do. Like, please let me know, blah, blah, blah. My teacher emailed me back and was like, well, I'm going on vacation. I'm going to send you to a different teacher. You're going to have to set up an appointment to talk to him. And there's a fee before you can take the third attempt. So I was like, oh my gosh. And it was probably like 3 weeks before the end of the term. So I knew that there was no way, for one, I was going to accelerate any other classes, which I was super bummed about. And then I was super worried that I only had 3 weeks left and I still wasn't passing this class after I already failed 2 other attempts previous to this. So I was getting pretty worried. To be able to take the third attempt, I met with the teacher. I had to have 3 45-minute phone conversations where I shared my screen with him and we went over different things in the chapters, different things that like typical students have problems with, that kind of stuff. And I got to ask him different questions, that like parts that I thought I was really struggling on. And so that was a long time. That right there took about a week and a half because I had to schedule 45-minute appointments with him, plus our hours of my teacher and the hours that I had that I usually do school, which is really late at night after I get off work. So it didn't really work out that well. I had a day during the week that I actually had off, so I scheduled an appointment there with him, and then he actually had one later in the night, and then I did one on the weekend that he was actually there too. So it was kind of hard to work around, but I did figure it out. It took me about a week and a half to get those, and then I studied for like 4 or 5 additional days. So I was on like the week 2 when I only had 3 weeks left. So I literally was like down to the wire, like don't know what I'm gonna do. And he was like, my teacher at the very end was like, okay, so like do you feel pretty comfortable with it? And I'm like, I think so, but I felt comfortable with it last time and I didn't pass. So that makes me a little bit worried, especially because I'm running out of time and I don't have much left in the term. This is my very last class I need to move on. So I ended up taking it, I think like the next night. It was like a Sunday night. I had to work super early. Monday morning, I tried to hook up to take the test with, I forget what the company is, Examity, I think it's Examity, and their website was down. It like wouldn't let me connect to them, so I had to call like the helpline, and you have to connect within like the first like 20 minutes or else you have to reschedule the test. And I really was like running out of time. I only had a week left and I worked all week, so I didn't have a whole lot of time. Anyways, so I called the help desk and I'm like crying, but trying not to cry on the phone to like seem ridiculous, because that's how I was acting. I was being so dramatic, but I was seriously so scared. And so he gave me like a different one to try to connect to, and we ended up getting it to work. Long story short, I literally had like 5 minutes left and I connect with my person that, you know, the proctor to watch me take this test. And she was honestly like the sweetest proctor I've ever had. With all the classes that I've taken in WGU and having to take the OH, she was like the nicest person. At like the very end of my test, I was like kind of like really scared because I didn't know if I passed or not right away. And she was like, can I tell you something real quick? And I'm like, yeah. And she's like, you're just so pretty. She's like, here, look up this person. And she gave me like some person to look up. She's like, you look just like them. It was so funny because nobody ever tells me that I look like anybody. I don't know, like a celebrity. But I just thought she was so sweet and so nice, and she actually like made small talk and like asked me how my day was and blah 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 before I like got into like taking the test, which I thought was really sweet because a lot of the time they don't, and they don't speak very good English most of the time, so it's really hard to understand them. But she was really sweet and I could understand her, and she was awesome. So that was a good thing about that. Afterwards, I could not look at my results. I was so nervous. Keaton was in our bedroom watching our cats and watching TV and keeping them away from me when I took my test. So I walked in to the bedroom after, and he was like, did you look at your results? And I'm like, no, like I cannot look at them. Like, will you look at them for me and tell me whether I passed or not? Like, I just cannot look at them. I was so stressed out with having a week left, and if I didn't pass, I don't know what I would do. I already had to have 3 45-minute meetings with my teacher, plus I had to, it was like a $60 fee just to take it again for the 3rd time. So I was so nervous. So I told Keaton, I'm like, refresh the page, and if it comes up with a blue, then I passed. If it comes up with red, that means I didn't pass. And literally it was like the slowest like 2 minutes of my life for him to like refresh it and see. And he started walking over and just put his arms around me to hug me, and I'm like, oh my gosh, I didn't pass. Like, and he was like, you passed. And I'm like, are you kidding me? I like could not believe it. I literally wanted to cry, that I was just so relieved over passing this and being able to move on after it taking me so long and going through like this whole thing. So anyways, long story short, if I could tell you anything about this course, is do not procrastinate on it. Really go through everything. If you can meet with a teacher right away, I would do that, just to get, you know, some tricks and tips and maybe things that other students had troubles with, because I think that really did help, and that was the only reason why I ended up passing. But I did pass. I moved on. That was the last. I had like a week left. I think it was like 5 days until the end of the term, so I couldn't accelerate to any other classes, which I was super bummed about, because I really needed to get like 6 classes done to be able to graduate when I wanted to. So now I am pushed back a little bit. I am going to be pushed back probably until November 2019 instead of May 2019, just because I didn't get as many classes done that I needed to. But only getting 3 classes done, which was technically what I needed to, but not what I really wanted to do. Each class cost me $1,010, so, which is ridiculous. And I kick myself on every single time. So if there's anything you take out of this video, is do not procrastinate, get your classes done, and if you need help, get help from the teachers right away, so that you don't just do the minimum and end up spending an arm and a leg like I did. Alright guys, so that is going to be all for this week's video. Please like, comment, and subscribe if you are new to my channel, as I will post more school videos if you like these. And any questions or comments below that you have, let me know, and I can always do like a school Q&A if you guys have a lot of questions. I've been trying to put them into these videos, but if I get more, I can always do a separate like school Q&A if you guys would like that. And then subscribe, and then press that little bell notification, because I don't know what it does, and maybe we will both find out if you click it, so you know. So thank you guys so much for watching. I'll see you next time, and yeah, bye guys.